random teleporting into a new open zone. Oh boy. Okay. We're going to go through this video and we're going to show you how it's done. We're going to show you what to look for, show you how to do it, because it is one of the most effective mechanics you can use in the game. When you're opening up a zone and you get a chance to random port in, if you have a whole bunch of players from your alliance random porting in, helping build flags, helping disrupt, helping do all the things, baiting rallies and doing all the things to completely disrupt the enemy, it is super helpful. And anybody can do it. You just can't be an idiot. You got to know what you're doing. And that's what we're going to try to teach you. That's what we're going to try to help you. Because whether you're an 80 million power player, 100 million power player, 120, doesn't matter. You can random teleport and you can affect the fight. You just got to be careful. And we'll go through all that right here. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. I put out videos all the time. And if you enjoy these videos, please throw a thumbs up on them. Give them a like. If you enjoy the content that we do and you find yourself watching some of these videos and being a part of my live streams all the time, then always click that subscribe button. Help out the channel. We're growing this thing. The community that we do is super positive and we want to keep it that way. We want to give you guides on the game and how to be better. And if you want to get alerts when we do this content, you can hit that bell and get the alerts. Now, this is a clip. And I got to sped up a little bit, but anybody that knows me and watches my live streams knows that I random port. I random port all the time. That's one of the things I love to do. I'm going to show you real quick about some of the things in random porting. You can see here that I'm trying to random port into a new zone. This is just a quick introduction on random porting. I'm trying to find the best place to get to try to affect the fight. And you can see right there, you can see right here, you see where my green city is right there? That is where the enemy is building. And so I got a really good random teleport there and I'm gonna go to work. Once I do, I go hit the alliance, join, make sure you're on the pass list, and I'm gonna run my marches out and I'm gonna go wreak havoc. That's my job. And so from that standpoint, you can already see some of my buddies are down here doing it. So it's close to their pass and that's your job. Your goal in random teleporting, for anybody that wants to do it, number one is to build forts or anything that's been dropped in the zone. If you random port close to a fort, then you have to get your marches in there. You have to. Even if you're a Kraken level player, okay? Get your march in as fast as possible. Now, somebody can replace you later when the murder ball finally gets there, but you gotta get there and get it filled up. It's effective. Anybody can do that. And so we're going to go through some of the things that you need to understand when you want to random teleport, because anybody can do it. Okay. You just got to be very, very careful. I'm going to go through a quick guideline. No matter what power you are, I'll go through the things you have to watch for. Okay. Number one, the first and foremost, the thing you have to do, and I'll back this up here when we're going through the pass fight. Okay. You can see we're trying to take the pass fight here. And we're trying to take the pass first. The minute you take the pass, now you can see over here, I don't have any troops dispatched. Okay, so rule number one is that you have to have your troops in your city and you have to be in the coalition once you take the pass. Now you can see here, I'm gonna random port and I get lucky. Okay, when you random port, when you have a pass, sometimes it takes a handful of random ports to get into the zone that you're going into, the open zone you're going into, whether it's Kingsland, zone 5, sometimes an open zone 6, that's what you want to do. And you can see here, boom, first random teleport, I got into the zone. So what do? I'm going to drop tags. When I drop tags, now it keeps me in the zone to random teleport around. Okay, you can see any one of my streams, this is exactly how I do it, but it's going to keep me in that zone. That way, when I random port, I stay in the zone and it gives me an incredibly higher likelihood that I'm going to get where I want to get. So you can see here, I'm going to grab my chest, first of all, get the gifts, and then I'm going to drop tags. Once I do, let the random porting begin. You say a prayer to the rock gods, please get me in a good spot. Nope. Not a good spot. You random teleport again. You can zoom out and kind of see where you are. Nope. I know I want to be on the left side of the map. I know I want to be on the left side where they're building. And so as you can see, I'm not quite close enough there. So I'm going to keep random porting. Okay, and there I'm on the right side. Nope, random port. You'll see this, and you'll have to go through about sometimes 10, sometimes 15, and to get a really good spot sometimes, you got to go random port literally 50 times. Okay, sometimes it takes longer than that. So a lot of people always ask the question, like, it's amazing the random ports that all these, all these big cities get and stuff. I wonder how they do that. It's like they're cheating. No, it's because they spend like 100 random ports, y'all. And so they're trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. And you can see here, I keep random porting. I know where I need to be. I know where my city needs to be. I'm not quite close enough there. I keep going, hit the random port again. Keep going. I know I'm not close. Hit the random port again. And I'm on the right side of the sanctuary. I know I'm not close again. See, I've gone through about 15 teleports. I'm on the right side, don't need to be there. Meanwhile, my team has got their murder ball and they're going to fight, and I got to get there as quick as possible. So you keep randoming and you keep trying to get as close as you can. And so you can see here, I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated. I'm on the right side of the map, can't be over here. I got to be with my guys. And then boom, there I am. Okay, just like we talked about, there I am. I am close to where they are. Let me back this up just a little bit, just so you guys understand. I'm close to where they are. You scroll out of the map, boom, there they are building. And I'm right here on the right. Okay, I'm in a good spot. Now I can go hammer down. So that's how to get the spot and how to go through that action. I immediately join the alliance when I get back in. You got to make sure you're on the pass list. Just remember, you don't want to be waiting for somebody to accept you after you've gotten a good spot. You can see here I've gotten with a buddy of mine that's one of my campmates or one of my allies, and we're going to go wreck. We're going to go get to the pass and wreck. We're close enough to the pass. If we see anything trying to get into these building flags, we're going to go hammer them. Our job in random porting is to disrupt. That is our number one goal and our number one job. So let's talk about the things you have to watch for, because you can do this as an 80, 85, 90 million power player. And if you do it correctly, you're not going to get wrecked. So let's pull this up here. This is lower power, 80 million to about 110 million. Okay, you're kind of in the same boat. You want to be as close to the fight as possible. That's rule number one. You do not want to be a far way away. You do not want to be 15, 20, 30 kilometers away, because if you get caught and you end up getting swarmed, then you're in deep trouble. Okay. And so from that standpoint, you want to get as close to the fight as you can. You want to get as close to the building fort as you can. And you want to set up there. You want to stay relatively close to your city, and you just want to keep an eye out for anybody looking to maybe swarm your city. Okay, the second thing you're going to do is the march for building, right? We talked about this. If you're a lower power player, you're probably going to put your march in the building and keep it there. Okay, and then you're going to go fight with 4. All right, so if you have 5 marches, you're going to put a march in there and then go fight with 4. If you're fighting with 4 marches, you're going to put a march in the building flag, and then you can go fight with 4 marches, because the march you're putting in the building flags like a CC, right? It's like a CC. It's not even that big of a deal, because you already have your gear for the other 4 marches, okay? And you get 5. All right, the third thing we look for is you leave 1 march for your garrison. I mean this when I say minus march for garrison. You're gonna leave 1 set of gear and 1 set of armament. Like if you run 4 marches, you're gonna go disrupt with 3. All right, if you run 4 marches in the field and you're close to a fort, you're gonna go put a march in the building flag. So you got 4 marches. And then you're going to take the gear and armament from one of your 4 marches, put it on your garrison. I don't care what garrison it is. And then you're going to go run with 3. So you always got to make sure you keep a set of gear and a set of armaments for the garrison. All right. The fourth thing you look for is to heal the hospital immediately. When you're fighting in the field, and if there's either a break from the fighting, you go back to the ball, or if while you're running it down, just go into your city and heal your hospital, okay? Because if you get caught swarming while you're taking a bunch of sevs in the field, then you can get yourself in trouble. So you have to heal your hospital immediately, all right? The fifth thing is, number one, first and foremost, is to disrupt. You get on their reinforcement line to their murder ball, you get to their pass, you get to their reinforcement line or get close to their building fort, and you try to kill anything that's going into that fort. All right, your job is to create havoc and completely disrupt. And if you can bait a rally, great. It takes 5 minutes to launch a rally. And odds are somebody's got to launch a rally from behind the pass. If you're close to their pass, it's going to take a while to get to you. So don't be afraid if you get a rally launched on you, because what you can do at that point is you can fight whatever you're doing in the field. Then you can recall, you can either take the rally and make them waste a whole bunch of troops on your rally and completely disrupt them. Like, listen, if you ran important, you take a rally, you're doing a good thing, because they've got to send a rally your way. They got to send marches into that rally. Even if they're farms, they gotta spend time on your city. So that's why good kingdoms don't really like to rally random ported cities. The only time you'll see that is if a random ported city is on like a territory spot. You got to get more teleports in there. Then I hook up the Attila rallies all the time. I do that all the time. However, at the start of the zone like this, where I'm at right now, where I'm going down into the pass and fighting, they're not going to set a rally. But if they do, great. You're doing your job. All right. And so the last thing you got to look for, you got to watch for high power swarmers. Okay. Even if you're in the field like this, you have to be aware of who's by your city. You can just hit your city icon there in the bottom right. You can immediately go to your city. If you see a whole bunch of marches start to run towards your city, get ready. Get ready, because you need to immediately go into your hospital and heal. And when you go into your hospital and heal, you're going to want to be prepared for that swarm. It's going to come if they do that. So high power players, people like me and people that sit like over 140, 150 million power, if you're an 85 million power player and you got 4 marches out there fighting, you're gonna get swarmed in a high likelihood by a higher power player. Okay. But honestly, if you handle your field troops just right and you keep your hospital clear, you're not going to take any deads. Because if you're an 85 or 90 million power player and you run 4 or 5 marches out in the field, all your marches are in the field. All your troops are in the field. You don't have anything in your city. And so your city's going to burn, which is fine. But at the same time, you can keep people from taking deads. Okay. Now, I'm not encouraging people who don't know what they're doing to go do this. I need to be very, very clear about that. You have to know what you're doing. You can't be an idiot and not know what you're doing. You're going to get yourself in a ton of trouble. But regardless of what your power is, you can go random port this day and age, especially in KVKs that are not super high Imperium KVKs, where you have Krakens out there. You've got Lion and Hope, and you've got Addy, and you've got BT Cyborg, and you've got, a Ghost Rider, and all these massive 500, 600 million power fluffy pony, these massive accounts. They'll swarm down just about anybody, even if you are at 100 million power. Okay, but players who are playing at 100 to 150 million power, they're not going to go swarm down a 100 million power city. They're just not going to do it. And so from that standpoint, because I've done it and I've gotten wrecked doing it. So from that standpoint, these are just guidelines for you to understand. Only random port if you're an 80, 90 million power player, if you really know what you're doing. Okay. Only do it if you really know what you're doing. Don't try to be a new person to the game and say, oh my gosh, I can do it. Chatsky said I can go random port at 85 million power. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to take deaths. So you got to understand how that works. Now, what I want to do is go through some of the guidelines for a higher power city. Okay. This is more for your 120 to 175 million power. You should be random porting. Okay, the smaller cities don't have to. The smaller cities can if they know what they're doing, if they follow those guidelines. But if you're 120 to 175 million power, you should be random porting, 100%, no problem. Okay, you got the same guidelines. You want to go -1 march for your garrison. Make sure you still have a garrison. Okay, you want to send a build march initially, right? Because if you're 150 million power, you're probably one of the heavy hitters for your kingdom. So if you get by a fort, go reinforce the fort. Okay. And then wait for your murder ball to get there. And you got to be calling out on voice saying, can somebody replace me in the fort? I got 300,000 troops in the fort. Can somebody replace me? And the minute somebody can get in there and replace you, you can get that march back, get it on the field. All right. So initially you're going to want to help with the build. You're going to set your wall garrison, just like we talked about, and you're going to disrupt and bait rallies. Do everything you can. Nobody's going to rally you at 150 million power. They're just not going to do that. But you have to watch for the Kraken swarms, okay? Even 100, 120 million power players, they're not going to touch 150 million power city if you are that big, or if you're 130 million power. they're not going to touch you, okay? However, the Krakens will. I have seen Hope and Lion. I've seen Fluffy. I've seen Addy. I've seen Al Hatham. I've seen the big players in the game that run up over 600 million power. They will swarm down 150 million power cities. They have no problem doing that. So just be careful when you are at that level, okay? So I'm trying to create this guide for everybody so everybody understands it doesn't matter if you're lower power or higher power, you can be effective in random porting. You just got to know what you're doing. And it really, really helps you because it works out really, really well. And then this is for, like, listen, I don't want to get criticized for saying, Chatsky, you just do content for Krakens and whales. But I do have to make a quick caveat to this. If you're 175 million plus, just go kill everything. It doesn't, nobody's touching your city. Not even the Krakens are going to touch your city at 175 million. It ain't happening. All right. And so from that standpoint, you just random port in, get close and go kill everything. You already know what you're doing. You've done it many times, so we don't have to go through that. Okay. So just to review, and I want to be clear on this, if you are lower power, you can do this. You just got to know what to do. You got to stick to the guidelines I give you, and you got to stay close to your city, and you got to make sure you disrupt as much as you can. But here's the key to random porting, guys, and this is what everybody has to understand. If you have a ton of cities, if you have a ton of players that are designated to random port, all right, you might have 4 or 5 really big whale accounts. You might have another 10 that are over 100 million or 110 million. They really know what they're doing. And then you might have 4 or 5 that are smaller power, but they're super experienced players. If you can get 30 cities to random port and get close to the fort, get close to the fight, it is a game changer. It is an absolute game changer for your zone opening. You can ask any war lead out there. If you can get a bunch of cities right where the fight is, right where you're building a fort, or right where you're trying to disrupt their building fort, or you can get a bunch of fighters right on their pass, you will completely disrupt a zone opening. I've been on both sides of that. I've been on the side where we have 60 people random porting in, and it just disrupting everything. And then I've been on the side where we're fighting like 960 or we're fighting like 77 or somebody like that. And you just got to watch out because they got random ports coming in, pouring in all over the place. Just 100 of them. It's crazy. And so from that standpoint, just watch out, watch what to do, watch how to do it, and make sure you keep your, for a quick sum up of how this thing goes. Okay. And we'll come over here to the city I've got. And so when we come in here, when I say you got to set your wall, make sure your wall is set. Okay, you can see here I've got my Hera Eleanor wall set because I always want Eleanor to hit her procced active skill to kill everything, right? That's in anything trying to touch her, just bam, get her. And you always want to make sure you have your gear. If you're running 5 marches and you got 5 sets of gear, okay, you want to peel one of those sets of gear off your field march and put it on your garrison, run 4 marches. You always want to make sure your garrison's geared up, just in case you take a swarm. Okay, and so from there, you're gonna be in frenzy. And just remember, if you're taking a swarm on your city, all right, and you get your marches back into your city, you can random port anytime. You can random port anytime. You can realize your hospital's not even full. Okay, you can see now we're in home kingdom, so our hospital cap is 390,000. I'm way over cap because we just came out of Lost Kingdom and we're filling hospitals right now. But at 390,000 is the cap in home kingdom. That runs up to 800,000 in Lost Kingdom. 800,000. Like, you got to have a ton of troops. Like, you got to be over 110 million power to take deads on a first burn on your city. Okay, and so if you're sitting at 80, 90, 100 million power, if you can get your troops back into your city, even while you're being swarmed, all right, your hospital might not even be full. You might even just wait till they burn your city and then random port away before they swarm you again and you don't get a heal off. And so from that standpoint, we wanted to give everybody the guidelines of how to random port. And just a disclaimer, not everybody can do it. But if you're gonna be 85 to 110, 100 million power to 110 million power, somewhere in there, you can still do it. You just gotta know what you're doing. If you're over 110 million power, you should be random porting. No question, no question. And unless you're going up in a super high Imperium kingdoms where they got Krakens everywhere, then you gotta be careful. Okay, but I'm talking to the majority of people. I'm talking to 95, 98% of the people listening to this video, that if you are sitting here and you are at like, where's Peace at? She's at 160. She's random porting. Buster, no. Buster's not going to random port in these high level Imperium KVKs that we're in. He's not going to do it. All right. You have way too many players like me and Peace that if we walk by an 87 million power city that's got marches out and they're random ported, we're swarming it immediately. But you're not going to see a whole lot of players like us in C seeds and B seeds and a lot of A seeds. Okay. So just about anybody can do it. Just know what you're doing. If you get the go ahead to random port and you're an experienced player, take a look at this video, keep it, run through it, run through your sanity checks and checklists, and it will work out good. All right. And if you enjoyed this video, please throw a thumbs up on it, like it. If you guys enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe. And if you have not hit that bell and you want to get alerts, you can hit that bell. Helps out the channel a ton. We are blasting through the subscribers and we love doing this type of content. I don't like doing the opinion content, boys and girls. I do not like doing it. I don't like being at odds with people disagreeing. I like doing guides. Okay. I like doing the mechanics of the game. I like doing the nuances of the game. And this is your random teleporting guide to Rise of Kingdoms. So with all that, we hope you guys have a great day, broskies.